Okay, so as most of you should know, we went to Georgia for Saudi National Day, Founding Day, I don't know, some national holiday. Also, check out my new glasses. I have an astigmatism. Yay. So, anyway, we went to Georgia in February. I'm looking over here because this is where my calendar is, but I realized that I took the February one off. It's down already, so oh well. So we went on, I think, the 19th. We went with our Saudi friends, and then a couple of our diplomat friends, and then Emily, the Canadian, came as well. So we flew in to Tbilisi. We rented our cars, and then Rati, one of our friends, who's actually Georgian, he's a Georgian diplomat here in Saudi. He had it organized where like his family friend's restaurant was open, and so he like had this big table for all of us to sit together, and then he had food that was halal, meaning like it didn't have pork in it for our Saudi friends, and then like the pork food for us, and so we got to eat the like dumplings, which is called kinkali or ketchupori. I can never remember. One is like a cheese bread and one is like a dumpling, a very large dumpling type thing. And it was delicious. We ate way too much food. We tried like 4 types of wine. And it's like sparkling sugar juice that he's like, this is a soda for us. And I'm like, this is medicine. This is sparkling medicine. And then we headed up to Gadari, which is in the north, I guess. I don't know. It's in the mountains. So we headed up to the mountains and we spent the next 3 days. So from Thursday to Sunday, we spent it skiing. Well, skiing. Robert went with Emily and Sean and Rati, and they like actually skied. And then our friend Debir didn't feel like she didn't feel well, so she didn't ski. She stayed and did like some work in a cafe. And then me and Gus, Khalid, and Abdullah went to ski school. Well, we tried to go to ski school, and then Layal just came with us because she was like, I've skied like twice and I want a refresher. We tried to go to ski school. We got to the ski rental place. We did all of our stuff ahead of time. Got to the ski rental place that the ski school told us to go to, and the people were not nice. They were like, they did not care that we'd never skied before. And I'm sitting there like, I haven't skied enough to know how to tell someone how to put boots on. Like, I can force your foot in there, but like if something doesn't feel right, I don't know the answer. And as the person who was supposed to, like the resident, like knowledgeable one, I'm like, this isn't for me. So I'm like trying to get the people at the store to help us, and they just aren't. So that sucked. And so we were all a little flustered because it took like 2 hours to get our stuff and everything. And they didn't even like write down the number of skis we took. We just took all of our stuff. And then we went to meet our guy. The line was really long. We went to meet our guide, and he was like our teacher. His name is Matthew from Switzerland. And he was like, oh, do you have your slope pass? And I'm like, no, dude, none of us have skied here before. We don't know anything. You are our guide. So then we had to wait in another long line to get our thing, and then our car was going to get towed. So Khaled had to run because the car was in his name. He had to run and get it. It was like a whole thing. And so we ended up only having ski school. We're supposed to have it for 4 hours. We only had it for like, I'm going to say 45 minutes, like maybe an hour if I'm being generous. We got all the way up there, and Khaled's ski didn't even work. So he was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And then Gus was like, this is okay. This is kind of fun. But then he got tired. So he's like, I don't want to do it either. So Abdullah and I were practicing. At one point, it was just me, Abdullah, and Layal. Mind you, Layal's not even in school, right? She's like, technically she's not paying for it. And Matthew was like, let's try a bunny slope. But to go up the bunny slope, you have to sit. It's like the same kind of ski lift that was the problem for me and Robert and me in Scotland that Robert had to like try to help me up on. So it like hooks behind your legs, but it's for children. So it's hooking like basically at your shin, like your calf level, as opposed to like butt level. And so we get dragged up there, we go down, and Bella's actually doing pretty good. They all remembering. Gus is out at this point. He hiked all the way up because he didn't want to take the ski lift. He hiked all the way up, and then he was like, it's too hot, I'm coming down. So then he just hiked back down. But we go up twice, and then on the third time we go up, Abdullah like skis, like he like gets out of the like little pull lift, but then he like kind of stops. So then I'm trying to get out of his way, but then the hook unhooks from one of my legs, but not the other leg. I have to show this, like it'd be better if I had someone in here so I could show you what it was like. So my skis go on either side of Abdullah. So now I'm like in a split, and I'm holding onto his waist because I know I'm gonna fall, and he's in between me. And then Layal's coming up behind me, but then she's hitting my skis because I'm stuck like kind of in the way. So then she falls down with one of her skis lodged like around my ski. But it's like still pulling her up by like her clothes. And then I'm holding onto Abdullah, so he falls over. So my legs are like spread out and like in different directions. Our ski guide has no idea how to help us because all 3 of us are like laughing. I'm kind of crying because I'm in like a full-on split with ski material. Finally, he just like starts unclipping skis and like grabbing us and throwing us around. This poor little man. All to say, didn't go well. I went down a slope, like a real slope, with Robert and Sean and Emily and Rati. Emily's really good. She's Canadian. She can like turn around and talk to you while she's skiing. It's insane. I was like, maybe don't, just be careful, please. And then we ate lunch, like up on the ski slope. So they had like really, really tall slopes, and they had medium slopes, and like in the middle they had a bunch of cafes. At the top they had a cafe, and at the bottom they had cafes. So we ate some more Georgian food, which my stomach hates Georgian food, but I love it. It's delicious, but the tum tum, not a vibe. So we ate a bunch of food. Us non-skiers were like, all right, we're done. We're going down now. So we went down, and we were like, tomorrow we're going to tube and we're going to paraglide. Like, we don't want to ski. This sucks. So on Saturday, we booked paragliding. So we woke up, I think it's like the 20th or the 21st. So we booked paragliding. We all went on it. It was like 2 people every hour, or 3 people every hour. So it was me, Abdullah, and Abir, and then it was Layal, Gus, and Khalid, and then it was Robert, Sean, and Emily. And it was, I love paragliding, right? It feels like you're flying on a dragon. It's incredible. But he did this like death roll thing. Sorry, lady. Which, like, usually do whatever. I don't care. Let's do backflips. But the way he was doing it, it was like G-force. And it, like, my head felt like it was going to explode, which means I could never be a fighter pilot. And then I got really nauseous because we were just spinning in circles and I couldn't see anymore. So I got down and I was like, hey, can I throw up over there? Because I was like really feeling it. And he said, no. I was like, oh, okay. So then I just swallowed it, which sucked. But then Abdullah and Abir came down. We tried to watch for Layal and Gus and Khalid. Didn't work. Couldn't find them. So then we found Robert and them. And they were like, well, we're going to go up and it's our turn. So we rode up with them to the top and then watched them take off. And they got to wear their skis, which was cool. Obviously, we did not have our skis on because we didn't have skis at that point. We only rented for a day. Robert tipped over on his start, which was... And everyone's like, oh, Robert, he was scared. He was hesitant. I'm like, he's not. He's in skis while the other guy's running. Like, Robert couldn't do anything. It had to be the other guy's fault. And I took a video, which I don't know where it is, but it was on someone else's phone. And you can see that the guy trips over Robert. It's not Robert, like, falling over. So it's the guy's fault. So we all did that. And then the Saudis and I went down. Everybody else kept skiing. And the Saudis and I went and we got a tube. But there wasn't like a space to tube, like to snow tube. We had to try like 5 different stores because they were all for kids. And we finally went in and this little man spoke no English. And I was pointing to his tubes and I was like, yes. And he was like, yes. I said, me, yes. And he was like, yes. And then I pointed to my friend Gus, who's like kind of bigger. And I was like, yes. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll take 3. So there were 6 of us. We took 3. Yeah, 6 of us. We took the tubes. We were like going down this little hill and we were like, this kind of sucks. Then we saw there was like from one of the hotels kind of like up on the hill, you could ski down to the slopes. And so we were like to get onto the lift. And we were like, well, this is it. So we went onto that trail. But the problem was there was nowhere to stop. Like you would have just like hit a tree or like hit a snowmobile. So Abdullah's job was to sit at the bottom of the hill and buffer when you land. Like when you came down, he had his tube and he would just kind of like bumper car you. So we did that a couple times. A lot of times it just ended with us like bumper carring off of our tube and like crashing into the snow, which was still fun. And then when it was time to be done, we asked Abdullah, we being me, I asked Abdullah to do the like really tall one that all the kids were doing, like, but they were doing on their butts. And he did the harder one. I said to go over to the left, but he was like staying where he was. And this little kid up there with him said, are you about to go down the big hill? And Abdullah was like, yeah. And he goes, you're crazy. And Abdullah was like, okay. Well, it was crazy because he hit, like the minute he started, he was like kind of already slipping off the tube. So he was like not fully in it and he was like clinging to it for dear life. It was a disaster. I hope I can find the video because he like rocketed off to the side. Mind you, it was his second time seeing snow and it was Khalid's first time seeing snow. So like they were already like, whoa. So he landed, it like knocked his breath out. Like I think he bruised ribs. Like he was, couldn't really breathe for a second. We got done and the little kid came up and he was like, that was a bad idea. And we were like, yes, thank you, 7-year-old. We know it was a bad idea. We get it now. And then we went and got snackies. And the hotel that we stayed at was like a cute little boutique hotel with like 17 rooms. And so they had a spa, like a sauna and medium like body temperature tub in the basement. And we did that one night as just us, but like the Saudis, because Emily and Rati and Rati's friend George and Sean were all in like a different hotel further down. I don't want to sit in a body temperature pool. That's cold to me. I want to be warm. So that we were all like, this is cold. But then we went to like nice dinners. We had dinner at our hotel. It was a Michelin, not restaurant, but chef. None of the food was good. I was disappointed in total. Because, Michelin restaurant, like fancy restaurants, they serve you like a dollop of cream and like a piece of meat. And they're like, this is fancy. It's $100 million for nothing. And I'm like, well, this is lame. But one of the desserts was a pine cone cream. And it was like whipped buttercream with the essence of pine cone with oils from a conifer. And I'm like, what? What a weird dessert option. That, or it was a sauerkraut ice cream. And I was like, that can't be real. That's not real, but it was. And it was gross. The pine cone one really did just taste like pine cones. Like it was just, you're eating a conifer. And we went there at their hotel. They had like this big pot tub, like almost a pool, think of like a small pool. It can fit like 30 people and you're like shoulder to shoulder. So Robert and I and Abdullah went with Sean and Emily and Rati into the big pool. And then the boys like saunaed and did the cold plunge, and Emily and I were like, we're not doing that. So we rinsed off and got dressed for dinner. And then we left Gadari on Sunday and went to Tbilisi. Rati and them went back to Saudi, but we back to Riyadh, and then Robert and us and the Saudis, we stayed in Tbilisi until I left on Wednesday to go to the UK went to Scotland for a writing retreat. But anyway, we're in Tbilisi. We have like a full itinerary of museums and different places to see, a Soviet theme park, all this stuff. Not themed Soviet, but it was built during like the Soviet era. And it was a good time. Our friends, some of them didn't really like walking so much, so they Ubered and we walked, which meant our timing was a little off. But we found some pretty good breakfast spots. Tbilisi is just a cool city. It's nice. I got to run a couple times, which felt so nice to run in like cool weather, and you can kind of wear whatever you want. It was chilly, like very cold, like through your bones cold, like through your skin cold. But it was a good time. We ate a lot of food, like so much food. I drank 4.5 alcohols. And was perfectly fine. Like, could have operated a bulldozer or heavy machinery. I'm trying to think if anything like of note truly happened in Tbilisi. Robert and I got some more art. We went back to the same art place we went before and got more art. It's impossible not to. It's such an artistic place. You just want to buy everything. And then our friend Dabir ended up having to leave early, and then I left the next day. I feel like I had something else to say. Oh, yeah. I realized... Oh, I dropped my pen. I realized when I went to go to bed on Sunday night that Calvin, my stuffed tiger, wasn't with me. And I was freaking out. Robert had been freaking out to get out of the hotel on Sunday so we could get to Tbilisi at a certain time for hotel, blah, blah, blah. So I was like rushing to get my stuff out, to get our stuff out, so that I could then rush our friends to get out, because Robert was freaking out and the roads were dangerous, whatever. And it started snowing, so our friends got to see snow in real life, falling down, because it didn't fall down in Norway. It was just there in Norway. It was a whole thing. And we got back Sunday night. I'm sitting there and it's like 11:45, and I realize Calvin's not with me. And I remember he's in the bed still in Gadari. And I remember too that they said that they take their laundry from Gadari, like from the hotel, and take it to a secondary launderer. And I was like, oh my gosh, Calvin's about to get lost forever. I was freaking out. I've had him for like 16 years. Not really. 15 years. Maybe 14. Since I was a freshman in college. So not that long. Yeah, 12. It doesn't matter. What matters is he was gone. And I was freaking out. And so we called the hotel and they were like, okay, we'll look for him tomorrow, which meant I slept not at all. And then they found him in the morning because Layal had flirted with one of the staff. And so the staff messaged and was like, yes, like here it is. And took a picture. And I'm like, oh, praise the Lord. Because I was freaking out. So we found him. He was alive and well. But we couldn't go get him, and they wouldn't mail it because they're like, the mail only comes once a month or once a week or whatever. So we had other people we knew that were there, that were arriving to Gadari that day, who live in Riyadh. There were some more diplomats, so they had to go and get it, which means I didn't get to have Calvin in Scotland for my writers' retreat, which was like just tragic. But it was fine because Calvin was secure, and that's what's important. We Tbilisi'd, we did things. Then I left to go to the UK. I met with my friend Catherine. And when I first got there, I was supposed to like arrive early, and my flight kept getting delayed and everything. So I was supposed to see my godbrother Tucker for like 4 hours in Newcastle. I was going to arrive in Edinburgh and then train 2 hours down, have like 4 hours in Newcastle. He was going to take the last train out. I was going to take the last train back up because he's in New York at grad school. And instead, I got to see him for 45 minutes because I arrived at like 6:30 and his train was at like 7:45. So I arrived with all my baggage and we immediately like went, got food, literally walked right out of the station, got food, and walked right back into the station. So it was a bummer I didn't get to see him more, but I'm going to the UK on Sunday, or on Tuesday. It is Sunday. On Tuesday. So we're going to meet him hopefully in York. I need to message him and like confirm everything. But I was like, this sucks. I only got to see you for like moments. Like, this is not what I planned. And then I went to Edinburgh and my friend Kat, she was on the Stockholm retreat, if you remember. The Stockholm Writers Conference, she was there, festival. And she's one of my online writing friends. And so she's the reason I even came to this retreat. She was like, please come with me. You like Scotland? And I was like, it's true, I do. So I met with her and we like toured around Edinburgh. She got me a plushie for my birthday. So I like wasn't alone in bed. I had a plushie. His name is Chris, the crusty croissant. And we walked around Edinburgh. She had like a whole schedule she wanted to do of bookshops. And I was like, I don't need that many books. Like I'll get like 1 or 2 total. And I got 6. So maybe 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7. Oops. And I read one of them while I was there, and I was so confused reading this book. It's called A Vow Made Twice. It's historical romance, which I have not read before, I don't think, unless you count Song of Achilles. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I feel like some of the side characters really need to be more developed, because at one point they were like, yes, Raph, my brother with one arm, and I'm like, I don't know at all, actually. And so I was lamenting this to Kat on the retreat, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And she was like, well, let me look. So she Googled it. Oh, it's the 3rd in a series. I picked up the 3rd book in a series. Just read it. I'm like, okay, well, now I know why it's confusing. So I read that book. We worked on our manuscript. The retreat was lovely. It was like out. We had to take a train down, and it was delightful. We trained down to Stowe, I think is what it was called. And it's this cute little town. There was like a town, like an auxiliary town to Stowe. So like the train took us to Stowe, and then we got into a car that took us to, I don't know, Buxton or something. And it was this like little Airbnb. It was like 3 Airbnb houses on a farm with goats and chickens and alpacas and miniature horses and 1 regular horse and sheepies and a border collie named Ollie the collie. He was so cute. He couldn't herd his sheep though because he had a little hurt leg, so we had to just like wait, but he wanted to herd them sheep. I mean, he was tweaking to herd the sheep. But it was delightful. It rained a little bit, but I got to still run outside. I got to run hills, which basically meant it was going to take me 12 years. There was a hot tub, so we got to hot tub it up. Everyone was super nice, super kind. The food was vegetarian only, so I felt like I didn't eat anything except for the jar of Nutella in our room. Kat and I shared a jar of Nutella, and it told us on the top what a serving size was. I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't need to know. That's none of my business. Let me just eat what I want to eat. And so we got to hang out. We pretty much just did our own thing and then like would go downstairs for meals. And like activities if we wanted to. Like she wanted to do some workshops. I just wanted to sit there and write. So I ended up finishing almost my entire manuscript for book 4, but 5 total, but 4 in the series. And I think it's going to end up being 4 and 5 because she is really big. I mean, she's at currently 174,000 words, which is insane because my first book was like 130. So that's crazy. And I'm not done editing yet. So we'll see. I'm editing it right now. And then I'm trying to think what else happened. Retreat was lovely. I was supposed to stay in Scotland a couple more days. I was going to go over to Glasgow, see my friends, stay with our friends, kind of vibe. But then I ended up coming back to Riyadh early so I could be with Robert because, geopolitically, who knows what would happen to the airspace. So I came to Robert. But everything is perfectly normal here in Riyadh. We get kind of alerts that just say, like, this is what's going on around you, just be aware. But we don't live, like, next to the airport or in the desert. So everything here is kind of going on as normal. I did take a Riyadh Air flight, which was delightful. I was one of 8 people on the plane, other than like the staff. And at one point I was asleep in the row and I had my legs in the air. And the guy, like the flight attendant, walked by and he was like, how is she sleeping like that with her legs in the air? Like she keeps putting herself in the weirdest positions. And I like kind of peeked my eyes open and he was like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Like, it's fine. Like, can I have some food? So I'm here. We've done some iftars. I've done a lot of crafting. You can see Robert's birthday sign behind me. His birthday's March 28th. Don't forget. It's a Saturday. And if you want, you can message me something you love about him because it's his it's his Baskin-Robbins birthday, meaning it's his 31st birthday, because they have 31 flavors at any given time. So I have like these scoops of ice cream that I'm putting my People Love Him. I'm putting it on there, and I'm hanging them on the door. So I'm still got a couple left if you want to send me something else, or something in general. We go on. So Robert didn't get Calvin back for me, by the way. So Calvin is secure, by the way. But we leave on Tuesday, on St. Patrick's Day, to go to London. And then we're going to drive up to Glasgow. We're going to stop through Oxford and see some of our friends who are at school there. Then we're going to drive to this hotel that has like the most comfortable bed in the world, because we think our mattress is garbage. So we're like, we just deserve this nice comfy bed in the Cotswolds, even though we've stayed there before. We're retracing our steps, which is like my least favorite thing, but also I just want comfort. So then we're going to do that. Then we're going to cross over to the East Coast side, and we're going to stay in another place we've stayed, the cool castle that the wardrobe like opened to the bathroom. Going to stay there. Same room. I just need to feel inspired. And then we're going to cross back over into the Lake District and then go up to Glasgow, see our friends for the weekend, and then come back on the 22nd of March. Just a short little trip, like 6 days, not even a week, which will be good to see them. It's Eid break. Ramadan's ending, so nothing is happening here. I mean, things are closed for ages. Like, the store I went to last night didn't open until 11 p.m. Like, this is ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But hey, I got what I needed at 11 p.m. I went grocery shopping at 12:45 the other day. p.m., like nighttime, or I guess a.m. The night. Whatever is the night. But yeah, that's what we're doing at present. That's what we've been doing. You'll see some pics from the trip. Not as many as I'd like, but it was cold and my fingers were cold. But we have this trip upcoming, and then we're meeting my parents in Egypt in April. Whoop, whoop. I'm so excited. And then we get back, and then like literally the next week we go to, it's like we get back on the 23rd, or hold on, where am I? On the 22nd of April, and then literally on the 29th, so a week and a day later, a week later, 22nd to 29th, a week later, we fly to America. Luke Hart's wedding is on May 2nd, and Eliza's engagement party is on May 9th. So Robert will go, like, we'll both come in town, go to Luke's wedding, and then he has got a work event that week, the following week after. So then from there, I'll stay in Colombia. He'll fly back to Riyadh to then go, I think, to Jeddah, maybe. I don't remember. I think maybe it's in Riyadh. I don't remember. And then I'm there with my family until the 10th on Mother's Day. Unfortunately, I'm flying out like 11 p.m. on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And then I'm trying to think. Then we have my half Ironman in Poland on the 7th of June. You should have gotten a newsletter, by the way. Check your spam folders, because sometimes my emails come as spam. It's from my Shelby Oval account, so just prep yourself. You should be finding that somewhere. And then July is booked up. I've got 2 weeks in America, and then I'll go straight to Spain. Robert's got a week in America, a week in Spain in the north with Sarah, and then 4 weeks with me in school. I'm very thankful that his job lets him work remotely for an incredible amount of time from not Saudi, which is delightful. Hence our trip to Spain. Again, love it. Same place, same school. And then we're going to try to go to Kyrgyzstan second Eid is in May. We're going to try to go to Sri Lanka, I think. Our friends are like really pushing because they've all been. And so like, you have to go. So hopefully I'm winning this battle and it's Sri Lanka and not just like a beach, because I think Sri Lanka has a little bit of everything, you know? And then at the end, we'll go to Kyrgyzstan in like late August, we think. And then we're going to chill out till Laza's wedding in November. So lots of moving parts, lots of things going on, lots of adventures, but all in all, I'd say we're okay. So if you're in the US and you're not my parents, I will be seeing you in May, hopefully. And then maybe in July as well. So thanks for watching. If I think of anything else, I'll throw it in the end, and enjoy the pictures.